You got a lot of time to sit around. There's not much exercise going on. Some people might be snacking all day. I know that I've taken to a lot more snacking than I had been doing. Probably put on 10 or 15 pounds since we've been at home restriction, and I've actually had to start incorporating daily walks into my routine just so I don't just sit here and explode.
Let me do my thing. Let me do my thing.
What's going on, Tech fam? Welcome back to the Technocalypse Now YouTube channel. So it's been a while, and I wanted to post an update of what's been going on with me doing remote work and in the midst of the COVID-19 epidemic that's going on. And a lot of people are not even working right now. So thankfully, I am still employed, and I am in an industry that is conducive to remote work. So big benefit working in IT, and everyone who sees this video may not know that I work in the education industry. So I work for one of the local community colleges here in my hometown. We went on spring break in March. So we left for spring break on that Friday, the 15th of March. It is now the 10th of May, and we have not returned, a couple months. And so being that we are a community college, most of our classes were on campus classes. When we left for spring break, everyone thought that we'd just be back after 2 weeks. And since we didn't, there was no preparation. No one was prepared for this. We had to figure it out as we went along. So that's what we did. It's worked out pretty good. I mean, we're able to do all of the things that our users need us to do for them so that they can do their job. So basically, we've been using WebEx to do remote support and also to do remote meetings. So we have a WebEx rooms, WebEx support, and we've been using that, and it's a pretty good tool. Also, I've been using TeamViewer. It's another remote support tool. I've been using that personally and just as a backup if ever necessary. Going forward, what I'm hoping is that this experience and opportunity will allow a lot more remote work to be going on. And in fact, I think that it's probably going to be more normal to be working remotely for a lot of different people than it had been before. One thing I would say though that I didn't expect is that I seem to have been working a lot more at home than I had actually been at the office. I did a lot of after hours work just trying to set up the initial processes and parameters that we were going to use. Now that we are good and we're well established in it, I end up with a lot more free time. So it gives me time to pursue other interests, continue professional development, check out that new application or program that I have been seeing and wanted to play around with. I did go ahead, finish studying for my AWS Cloud Practitioner certification. I did take the exam and passed it, so I am now AWS certified in Cloud Practitioner. When we first began working remotely, it was a very busy time because, like I said, we weren't prepared for it. But once we got our processes in place and got used to the mechanics of working remotely and supporting users remotely, it opened up opportunities because obviously you're not constantly supporting users the entire time that you're logged on and ready. There's downtime in between supporting users. And so I try to be productive with that time. And so it was an opportunity for me to go ahead and knock this certification out. So basically, when I took these, when I was studying for this exam, AWS has online training, videos and material free of charge to anyone who wants to learn it. And basically that is the material that I use to study for and pass that exam. I just went through all the material that AWS provides on the subject of Cloud Practitioner, and then I just searched online for practice questions and words and definitions so that I could better prepare myself to take the exam. I went through all the material that AWS provided. I went online and I did practice quizzes and practice questions. Now they offer the ability to actually take the exam from home, online proctored, but the testing centers were still open at the time, so I scheduled at a testing center and went and took it. It's right down the street from my house, so it wasn't a big deal. And I passed it on the first try. It was actually easier than I thought it was going to be. It's not a very complicated certification, simply because it just covers the basics of AWS cloud offerings. So basically it just goes through the basics of what AWS has to offer for anyone wanting to migrate to a virtual environment. I probably went through all of the material in about 2 weeks and took the test and passed it. So my area has been experiencing a small rise in COVID-19 cases, but overall, we've actually been doing pretty good. We were early with the stay-at-home restrictions, and I think that probably helped out a lot. When this COVID-19 epidemic began, I think that a lot of people who knew about it early did not think it was going to be a big deal, or did not think it would even make it to the United States. It was a China thing going on in China. I remember seeing the news reports that there was an epidemic going on in China and wondering what would happen, because I saw it early when it first began over there, and I only saw it getting worse. And then next thing you know, 1 case in America, 2 cases in America, so on and so forth. So, everyone is ready to open back up. Everyone's ready to get back to work. I'm always of the mind better safe than sorry. If there's a chance that I could go out because I'm just cabin fever stir crazy and contract a disease that could put my life in danger, or the lives of my family in danger, it's not worth it to me. So I'm just not going to do it. So even if they open up full time, we are going to be very careful about venturing out, because as it stands, none of us, me, myself, or my family have been tested for coronavirus. But none of us have been sick since these lockdown restrictions have gone into place. Now, I probably toward the end of February did get a little sick. I thought it may have been a flu. I was sick for a few days. I actually went and got tested for the flu and tested negative. And this was before we in America began getting all these COVID-19 cases. And that was it. And after that, I've not been sick. No one in my house has been sick. So we're probably vulnerable to catching COVID-19. And the thing is, I understand that everyone wants to get back to work. People are suffering because they're not able to make any money. And that is the whole idea of these stimulus packages: provide cash flow for people who've suddenly lost their employment or suddenly lost their income, to kind of keep them afloat until we figure out what is going to. I understand that people want to get out and, continue their livings and everything, but we have to be very careful. In a situation where I could go out and get COVID-19, being that I'm relatively young and in good shape, it may not affect me. But if I'm still out running around, before, during, or after I have come down with this disease, and I'm just spreading it to people, giving it to people, those people may not have the immune system or ability to fight off the disease. And if I, pass something to them that they can't fight off and it ends up killing them, then technically, wouldn't I be responsible for their death or their sickness at least? So, that's going to be the way I look at it for everyone. If you want to go out and risk getting COVID-19, by all means, go right ahead. But you should not be trying to convince others to do the same. I understand misery loves company and nobody wants to go it alone, but this is your idea, so go right ahead. Don't try to bring somebody else with you, so just in case you got somebody to die with you if you made a mistake. And that's just the way I look at it. But, everyone has their opinion, as do I. So back to the future of information technology, possibly as I see it. Like I said, I think there's going to be a greater opportunity for remote work for IT professionals. We've done it for so long in a sustained manner, and we see that it is viable. I believe, just in the interest of cutting costs, a lot of companies would probably opt to do a lot more remote working than they had been doing, because they see a benefit in their bottom line, to their bottom line for doing it. So in fact, they probably will, most likely will. Anytime your bottom line, especially from a business aspect, is impacted positively from some action that you've taken, generally the chances are you're going to continue taking that action, because the main goal is to increase your bottom line and profit. So something new on the horizon for the IT career field. So that's something to be excited about. I definitely am. I would love to work from home 2 or 3 days a week. I do enjoy leaving sometimes. So, going into the office once or twice a week wouldn't be too bad. Another thing with, being on the lockdown restrictions and at home a lot and remote working is that, you got a lot of time to sit around. There's not much exercise going on. Some people might be snacking all day. I know that I've taken to a lot more snacking than I had been doing. Probably put on 10 or 15 pounds since we've been at home restriction, and I've actually had to start incorporating daily walks into my routine just so I don't just sit here and explode, and so that I can get some exercise. So now after my shift every day, I go and walk the neighborhood with the fam, and just trying to add some exercise and create it as a routine so that it's, part of my daily thing. That's just different changes that you have to get used to and be cognizant of as you adapt to your new reality, basically. This was just a quick channel update that I wanted to post. Since I hadn't been making videos in a while. Definitely want to thank any and everyone who happens to come by my channel and take a look at my videos and my content. Hopefully they found some helpful information, and that'll be it for this update. Thanks everyone for coming by and chopping it up with me. This is Warner signing out, and see you on the next video.